United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you.
Whoops.
All right, next is roll call.
Mr. Richard Burrows.
Here.
Ms. Teresa Stevenson. Here. Mr. Tom Sidwell.
Here.
And Mr. Jimmy Sandoval.
Here.
Mr. Box is absent.
All right, thank you. Next is approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Is there any additions or deletions, Mr. Moss, or Dr. Moss? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell.
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval.
Yes.
And Mr. Burrows.
Yes.
And the motion carried.
All right. A public, no public comment? All right. Next is approval of the minutes of regular board meeting on December the 10th. Everybody had a chance to review those? And any additions or deletions to the minutes? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes for December 10th. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sidwell.
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval.
Yes.
Mr. Primrose.
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
And the motion carried.
All right, under Chairman's report, we've been discussing about possibly changing the trustees meeting to 3:00 like now instead of on a regular basis instead of 5. It doesn't really matter to me, but it does give the staff a little less overtime. Anybody have any comments on that? Any preferences?
That would be fine with me.
3:00.
3:00?
I guess it.
Like I said, it either works good for me, but it helped the staff out, I think, a little bit. But it'd be like today.
You don't do nothing anyways. Time doesn't matter.
I didn't want to say that, Jim.
Long as it's not 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
After 8 o'clock.
about 8, 9 o'clock, yeah. About my speed.
Well, if it, guess if that's all right, we'll entertain a motion to change that to the regular meetings to 3:00 on a regular basis.
I make a motion that we change the Board of Trustees meetings to 3 p.m.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sandoval.
Yes.
Mr. Primrose.
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
And Mr. Sidwell.
Yes.
And the motion carried.
I know Dr. Moss is going to mention this, but the foundation is having a fundraiser on February the 15th. They're going to do a shrimp boil dinner, and last year Altrusa, they brought in homemade baked goods and they did an auction, and they gave, all the proceeds went to the foundation. So and we'll have a band, Curry County Outlaws. So if anybody gets a chance, I know Dr. Moss has lots of tickets. I haven't got my share yet.
Yeah, you can buy them, or if you wanna sell them, you can take some of my
Yeah.
tickets.
But we appreciate any help that we can receive for the foundation. And stay warm. It's gonna, hopefully it'll warm up. All right, next is President's report, Dr. Moss.
So you all have my report, and I'd add to what Mr. Primrose said. I met with, is it Char Montgomery with Altrusa, I think?
I think so, yes.
And she said they actually, and not only are they doing bake stuff for the auction, but I think some members of the Tucumcari Tuesday, the group that cleans,
Oh,
like picks a part of town, they're also gonna help contribute to that too, so that's some more help for the fundraiser. And then also, we set a date. I'm going to talk to Altrusa first or second week in February, I think, just to talk about the college and where we're at, and just kind of introduce some things there. So, of course, Quay Day is tomorrow morning. Right now, it's me, Mr. Primrose, Mr. Box, and Mr. Sidwell. I guess we'll leave about 4:15 in the morning. We can take my car, or if you guys want to take a different vehicle, Margaret just need to change the travel request. So it doesn't matter to me. Whatever you guys want to do.
Either way, I have permission to take my wife's vehicle.
It probably has more room than my Prius, but
Where we have a little bit more leg room.
Good.
and then I got an invitation to go to, I think it's similar to Quay Day for Union County next Wednesday. It's a lunch, so I don't have to leave as early. So I'm going to be going to that. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, I did want to mention, and Mr. Kaiser may talk about this, we now have 3 of the 5 nursing students that have passed the NCLEX in their first try. So we just have 2 more, and we feel really good about all 5 of them. So that would be awesome if we had all 5 pass the first time and have 100% pass rate. Let's see. We did talk, had a conversation with the Office of the State Auditor and Jaramillo Accounting about the special audit. And we said, if there's things that you see right now that we could change or need to do now, let us know. Don't wait till that report comes out if we can make some. And one of the things they mentioned was creating a finance committee. And so that would be similar to the audit where, a couple of you all, and I wouldn't recommend more than 2 board members, myself, Ms. Arias, maybe Mr. Martinez, but a small group where you have the chance to look at more in depth into the finances. It could even be the same members of the audit as the audit committee. So doesn't necessarily need to be appointed, but I think we do need to create that, and that'll just help us in moving forward in our finances and auditing. Mr. Martinez and I had a conversation last week about the Go Bond. That vote happened this November, and so 2 years from that time, so it'll be November of 2026. That will come up again, and so we're going to have some conversations with HED on what we could propose as a project. We talked about housing. We were told that's not an eligible project for Go Bond. and Go Bond is statewide. It either passes or fails statewide, and so a lot of places have projects. We haven't had one for 4 or 5 years at least. So housing doesn't qualify. We were told we'll make sure of that, but we also talked about maybe supporting our wind turbine repowering through that, and that's a good potential project. But we definitely need to narrow that down in the next month or so, because we'll have to go through kind of the same process, a committee. We'll have to present that. They'll have to approve it, get that on the bond. But I know we're eligible, and so even if we didn't have a major project, we might be eligible for $500 to $1 million just in infrastructure improvements or something like that. So that's exciting. That's all I can think of right now, unless y'all have questions on my report.
Well, I think having a smaller finance committee is good. We always had one also, city and county, and you don't have to have like an exit conference or entrance conference to an audit. The committee could, and wouldn't require advertising. We have just 2 of the trustees.
Yeah.
Do we still have HUD? When HUD help us with the roofs?
Housing,
The housing?
I don't know. That's something I need to check on. It
It was the president's house, I think, out of that.
yeah.
I don't know.
I'll do some follow-up on that. I know there's a lot of money out there for housing, but getting it to fit college is a little different, I think, than like if we were building apartments for just housing people, that would be one thing, but I don't know. I'll check on it though. Yeah. Also, I gave you all a kind of a financial statement sheet. Ms. Sharmer put that together the last month or 2. It still needs some work, and Ms. Arias has been working on getting that directly out of our Genza bar. And so hopefully we'll get those numbers where, all caught up and everything. And so, but this is kind of a snapshot of, where we're at to this point of the year. And this isn't something we've been able to see for, I don't know, before my time. So it's exciting because, you can look at your total wages and are we close to where we should be on the budget? Are we close on operating expenses? And where's our revenue compared to where we should be at this time of year? And so as we go along, this will get more and more fine-tuned. We'll be pulling numbers directly from Genza Bar, and we'll be able to make it look simpler is not the right word, but in a way it is. So it's easy to see exactly where we are every month, and if there's anything that stands out where we're missing it. So exciting to see that, and like I said, Ms. Arias has done a lot of training in Genza Bar the last couple months, and we're going to be getting those numbers more directly before too long. So
Yeah, that looks good. I appreciate it.
Needed this a long time.
there are some numbers, I think that still are not in there. And some of the revenue, like we still have some drawdowns and things that we still need to do for the year that we'll need to get caught back up on. But
Is that the reds?
That's a variance.
Sorry, I should have had that pulled up. So like the red numbers is what we have left in this year's budget. Like as you go across, the first column is what we have spent or brought in year to date. The second column is what we should expect to have spent or brought in according to our budget. The third one is what we would have spent a year ago up to this point. And then the variances is like, here's what we have left in our budget in red, or if it's in black, that may be where we're over a little bit where we should be. So like the third line, state government appropriations, according to what we had budgeted and what we've actually brought in, we brought in 110,000 more at this point than we would have expected, or 108,180. So, and then the far right column is our total annual budget. And then the actual under variances, that's the difference from what we spent last year to where we're at this year. So it gives us a gauge of how we're running compared to last year.
All right. Appreciate we get this report on a monthly basis. That'd be great. Education. Are there any other questions for Dr. Moss on his report? If not, we'll go to discussion of the academic calendar for 25-26.
So, and Mr. Kaiser or Mr. McVeigh may want to jump in on this if they want to. I didn't make this an action item because I wanted everybody to make sure they thought about it first. But I gave you guys copies of our existing calendar for next year. What I'd like to propose is kind of moving that forward, so that instead of starting on the 11th, we would actually start a week later on the 18th. And that would, I still haven't had a chance to clear all this with Ms. Gonzalez or Mr. McVeigh, but it would probably move all our other dates like student orientation, last day for 75% refund, all those other dates forward 1 week. What this would do at the end of the semester is give us, when we get done with Thanksgiving break, we come back and have a full week of classes, and then after that, a full week of finals. Whereas this past semester, we came back from Thanksgiving and all we had was finals, and it's hard to get students back for that. And, we still had activities planned, and, it just, I think it would make more of a traditional college experience. But do you guys want to add anything to that, or?
I think you're spot on. It gives us time to, in some cases, to get those students finished for the semester. They might be trying to complete coursework, and if they're walking into finals and they still have outstanding coursework, we can't catch them up. So it gives us that last moment to try to help a student out and actually save the student, get them through past it. And I think it's going to be really good for the students in that context.
Did you say it was more in line with the other institutions?
I
too?
think most colleges are going to start around the 18th. And the spring semester, I think we started a little bit early this year as well. But next year's calendar is already set to where we would come back. Then the following week, the faculty would be back, and then the following week after that, we'd start classes. And I think that just it was a little tough for everybody, I think staff and faculty, to everybody come back on Monday and start classes the following Monday. So that I think the spring semester looks good, but try to shift that forward in the fall is what would get us there.
So if everybody is in agreement with the new calendar, you bring it to the.
I'll bring it, Yeah, next month, and we'll have all the dates, changed. I penciled them in, but we'll have something maybe a little more official. And like I said, if you all hear anything or have any comments about it, let us know over the next few weeks.
Next is, the purchase requisition for FY 24 audit.
So we, as you all know, the Office of State Auditor is doing our 24 audit. I won't say, well, in the past, we weren't in a big hurry because we had to get stuff together, but at the same time, we had the urgency from everybody outside of college to get our audits caught up. And so we kind of pushed a little bit for Mr. Hill to get us the MOU. I think she was waiting on us, but we were waiting on the MOU from them. So we need to get that approved, and then I'm hoping we'll be ready to do the audit. So, yeah, and I would like to think that hopefully that price would go down as we get things more and more resolved, but it's still pretty high. 95 or 98,000.
98,000.
So,
If anybody has any questions, if not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the requisition and the MOU between the Mesalands and the state auditor to do the 24 audit for $98,280.
You don't have a choice, right?
no.
Right, if we get to a point where we have an independent auditor, we might have a little bit of negotiation, but with the state auditor doing that, I don't know that we can negotiate.
I move that we approve the requisition for the audit.
And a second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call please.
Mr. Primrose?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.
And Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
And the motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next is approval of the December 2024 financial report.
I don't know if they have any questions or not, but
Well, I've been following our cash, and our cash is pretty steady, so we're paying the bills and retaining a good cash balance, so and then if we get this report compared to budget, I think we'd be in pretty good shape, so.
and I'd also comment, I know, I think with our business offices where we could really say we're fully staffed now, still have some training to do on people learning what they need to do, but I feel really good about where our business office is right now, and that a lot of that goes to Miss Arias for getting that in order. So
Yes, it's very nice having us all together in the tower over here where the old where the bookstore used to be. So we're all together, we're able to communicate on issues and concerns when students come in. We're all part of it, so it just keeps everybody on the same page. And then we'll be doing some cross training, specifically with AR and AP, so that way if somebody's out, it doesn't just get held up and the process continues.
And so using Genzifar is the only software we have now for financials.
It is, yes.
You like Genzifar?
Well,
Off the record.
I do like it. It's not, there's some things that are not very friendly. One would be the reporting for the financials is very difficult. So, it's not a matter of pulling the information, it's a matter of getting it into a report. And basically, I have to set that whole report up pushing a button and running it, and that's what's taking so long, is getting it set up to be, understandable for everybody, for all the departments, making sure that, you know, if they want to see the revenue, then their expenses, just like it should be, and it's not, and that's just taking, it's very time consuming to do that. But once it's done, it'll just be a matter of running it, and it'll be good to go.
Any other questions on our December financial? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
I make a motion that we approve the financial report.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, roll call please.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Sittingbohm?
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
And the motion carried. And Mr. Primrose, I'm sorry.
What about it?
Are you good in?
Thank you. Next, Mr. Kaiser, academic affairs report.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have my report about academic affairs division. Not a lot to report, a lot of work is happening. Just wanna highlight some important dates beginning there. Of course, classes started on the 13th, our main campus courses, so we're now a week underway. And our correctional classes begin this Monday. So again, to be able to support the registration, and then align the classes, we've got a lot of staff members that are working on both sides, Josh's division and my division, and I just wanted to say thank you for all the support we've received. And again, I just wanted to put in the calendar midterms and finals, because I know that's what our faculty are thinking about the second they set foot on this campus. No, I'm just kidding. When we get through and when we can go on vacation. Successes. As Dr. Moss mentioned, we had our third nursing student complete the NCLEX and pass. And again, what that is these are students that have already completed their AAS in nursing. They're going on to take the national credentialing exam, which is the NCLEX. So that's a major success for our institution, our program. And if we can get those other two students passing through there, we'll have 100%, and that'll help us later on for other accreditation needs. So that's a major success that happened over the transition over the break. Other things that are a success, been working with Mr. Garcia, Dean Garcia, with adult ed, and we were actually approved to receive $65K for the IET program, and this is through HED. And what we can use this for is immediate access for IET programs. And our program that we chose was CNA, so we'll be able to support students to get that through the CNA program, and these funds can be used for anything that touches the teaching experience for the student, impacting the student experience. So that was a great opportunity, and a lot of great assistance from Dean getting that approved, and we can use that today. So that's great news for us as an institution. Major projects. Our teams are about to start preparing for our HLC comprehensive. They've already been collecting evidence for this accreditation review. So just to put some timelines out here, March 25, we're going to try to have all our documentation and assurances in place. And then we'll start the actual, after that, we'll have from March, this March until July 1st, to actually put all this together in one voice. So that'll give us enough time, hopefully, to get that into one voice and submit it. Some major projects happening. And then, of course, the integration of our LMS system, Canvas. And we've been working with Larry and our IT teams to try to get Canvas in a test phase where it'll speak through two-factor authentication. I'm probably butchering this right now, the IT lingo, but that's where we're at on that Canvas project. And that's what I have. If there's any questions, I'm open.
I wanted to highlight too, I put this in my report, but it really stood out to me. I think it was Ms. Gutierrez at the county commission meeting that said, I think they'd hired 3, is that what they said, Ron, of our graduates?
That sounds right.
All right, already. And it's just so important to them because they're hiring local people to be nurses in our area, which means it relieves them of that expensive traveling nurses. And that's what we want to see out of this program is training local people to do jobs here. So
It keeps our nurses here and their families here instead of, leaving for Albuquerque or another location.
Absolutely.
I tried that with the city, it didn't work. I wanted to change some rules and then they didn't want to.
Hopefully it's gonna work with these nurses. I think
But
that's,
Channel 4 said something, I think it was last week, about schools. And I remembered I said a speech about it, about how many students to a class. And I said 15, but the Mesalands wanted 30. But this lady, she's a big gun there in the schools in Albuquerque, that she's working, having 20 students to a class. I figure that's good, because that way the kids will learn and graduate right away.
I think that's one of the benefits we have being, although we're a small school, it gives our student population in the class good one-on-one experience. And if we're looking specifically at the nursing experience, when they go to clinicals, if you have a class that's over 12 or 16, it's hard to get them in the same unit. They have to break up the units.
Yeah.
So it's one of the benefits of having these small cohorts for us. They can be in the same unit, learn together, experience that together, instead of this scheduling nightmare that happens when they go into a main hospital like that.
Yeah, I was happy because I said, I said that years ago when Dr. Berry was here. Because Dr. Berry said about 20 people, but I put it down 15. And now they're talking about 20 people to a class.
Ours average anywhere from 6 to 18 is usually the max course for us.
That's
In
good.
some areas, we see that often with gen eds. But what I find working with the instructors, it seems to be that balance from 8 to 12 is a nice number. And then, of course, our course limit is 6. We need to have 6 to run a course and make it beneficial with the expenses and whatnot. And if there's not 6, it becomes an independent study situation to get that student through if they need it for their degree requirements. So we have some flexibility there as well.
Yeah, the reason we done that is because this lady was talking on TV. She was going to university there in Albuquerque, and she was going to study to be a nurse. Then she was talking there on TV with a lady, and she said that she was going to change her major to something else because the way New Mexico treat their teachers, she didn't like it. And I said, oh, all right, I'll say something. So I wrote it and give it to the lady who used to do all my speeches. Right out to add some more or less or whatever. She did, and that's what I said. And the people decided they wanted 30. They didn't want 15. I guess it was pretty low.
that's especially too many, like in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. You just can't have that many kids in a class and expect to learn as well.
But I was pretty happy, and they're going to talk now that they're gonna have the legislature, they're gonna talk about it and see if they can change that ruling
Yeah.
to 20 kids to a class. The only problem is they don't have enough teachers. But I figure if they teach them while they're young and bring them up, I think one of them should become a teacher. Or have the smart kid help the other students. If they can't figure it out, let him teach them, or show them how to figure it out. There's less students and I think they'll go to school then.
We'll have to talk later when I'm off camera about the politics of increasing the class size. I don't wanna offend anybody. And it's back to what Dr. Moss pointed out. There's moments in the teaching process, and you're picking up on that too, where students learn from other students. But that doesn't happen when the classroom is completely packed, a lecture hall. And at times, I mean, the student experience here is drastically different from a major university where students they're just a number.
Yeah.
And that's something I can say here, where our students aren't a number.
No, that's what I like.
You get to meet them in their moment of learning, and that's really important for our student population.
Yeah, that's why I wanna change some wording in Title V.
Is there any other questions for,
That's it.
What about the
Sergeant?
other two nursing students? What's their status?
They have a certain amount of time they can test, so, we asked that the other day, why haven't they tested? Well, they wanna be ready, they wanna be prepared, so I think that's what's happening. It's not a question that they've taken or failed the test. It's just, they wanna be ready, and when they're ready, they're gonna go, but they have a certain amount of time.
I had a question too, are the three that tested, are they the ones that got hired or not necessarily?
I don't know. We don't know the answer to that, but I think the expectation is all five are gonna do really well. And so, yeah. Cause that happened before. I know one of them, we just got the news over the weekend that she had passed, another one passed late or the middle to late last week, and that was all after I heard that about the local hospital, so I don't know that it was even connected.
How often do the tests, what am I trying to say? How often are they offered the tests?
I think they can take it, they have 3 chances to take it. But for us, in our accreditation, the Board of Nursing, I think, sets a standard, they wanna see 80% pass rate on the first time. Because that is supposed to go to show how your program prepared the students, and I'm kinda talking on stuff I don't know, but they wanna see 80% of the first time test takers pass. So we're already at 60%, and we're hoping at least one and really both of them pass, but
I will double check with the nursing director. I think those test periods are set. They have certain sessions that they can register for. And that's kind of, I think it's a regional, test.
I didn't know if
program.
it was kind of like your social work or your counseling tests, that how often they're offered. Like you have to wait a whole lot of time before you can test again.
I think it's within 3 months. The 3 months seems like we've discussed that,
Yeah.
or that's I could be totally wrong about this.
Window.
I'll find out. Any other questions?
there's not any other questions?
I'll just keep my fingers crossed.
Mr. Patch.
Thank you.
That's good.
Our next is Student Affairs, Mr. McVeigh.
Good evening. A few things I wanted to highlight from the report that's before you. Our registration for corrections is about complete. So that we're we're looking at 315 students that are enrolled through our correctional programs. There may be more. There's ad drops still throughout this week, so that may change. We of course have ongoing advising going on, dual enrollment. There are workshops that are going to be held at the schools, high schools, Tucumcari, Logan, Roy, and Vaughn. Right now we're in that time of year that we're encouraging students to complete their FAFSAs and get ready for the next school year, start enrolling if possible. And so there are workshops that are being held at those locations for those high schools on their campuses. Rodeo is going to begin on March 1st. Our enrollment numbers have hit 594 for this semester. That's not the total complete enrollment for the semester. That's just at this point in the semester. What will happen is we have second 8-week courses that students will enroll into. We have other courses that will be ongoing as well. That number does not include Impact, so we do have 4 credit courses that Impact enrolls with us as well. And so there's potential. We really do expect to be over 600, but there's potential for a lot more there. I will say that the good news is that we have seen a 7.4% increase on main campus. Our main campus enrollment has grown by 7.4% from a year ago, spring a year ago. And it's at this point, where maybe more as we go through the semester, we may get a higher percentage rate as we move on. But I do want to point those are exciting numbers, good things, good movements that we're seeing as we're moving forward. Recruiting is ongoing. Shelby's doing a wonderful job there. Looking at HubSpot for our CRM, which is customer retention management software. Potentially utilizing that software. We have been utilizing its free version, but there's an opportunity for us to take advantage of the paid version. Shelby's working with over 600 prospective students currently, and so we really need to utilize our CRM to be as effective as possible. And so she's handling all those phone calls, those tours, all the recruiting at that level. I do also want to add, recruiting happens through our faculty, so faculty also have opportunities and are helping through recruiting by visiting schools and taking advantage of those opportunities as well. In institutional advancement, we've been working on the EDA grant, working on a grant there, which is a possibility of $2 million. If we are successful in getting the $2 million grant, then there's potential there that DFA will partner with us and match another $2 million. So we're hoping that these continue to progress in a positive direction. So far, they have been progressing well, and we hope that they continue to progress well as well through that. Now, and I bring that up because as we built this grant, there are some forecasted numbers that I was excited about. I wanted to share with you a little bit about. One is Impact Wind. It asks about our investors, or those that are invested in the campus and our program in Wind. And so Impact Wind is one of those. Beneficiary is what it's called. And so it asks how much is being invested by Impact Wind over the course of 9 years. Impact Wind, with its trainers that are on campus and that are training and doing what they're doing, helping us here on campus, their investment over the next 9 years is $2.7 million that they're, as a private company, investing. We also have investments that are coming from Leeward Energy, Renewable Energy, as they've given us $10,000 currently in scholarships. But we are continuing that relationship and seeing, moving into the future, where that's going to lead as well, potentially more. We've seen donations from GE. We've seen, again, Pattern, NextEra donations as well, solar panels, solar technology, things like that. So again, those beneficiaries are investing quite a bit. Wind energy itself is forecasted, Mesalands is forecasted potentially to be able to create $24 million in the economy over the next 10 years. So that's a really exciting number as well, over a period of 10 years with the investment. So again, justifying the feasibility or the value that the turbine will help us with is very encouraging. We also have the potential to create over 2,000 jobs as well through our campus and through the turbine and through the training that we offer. And again, I've talked about this before, how wind industry is growing predicted to grow over the next 10 years to over 60% growth. They're expecting there to be many jobs created in that, and again, 2,500 jobs a year, I believe, are to be created, and so there's a lot of potential for Mesalands to have a large portion of that in creating those jobs. So those are exciting things that were uncovered as we were investigating and getting the numbers together for the grant to justify the value that the turbine presents, not just to our community of Tucumcari, but also to the state of New Mexico and nationally as well. So that's institutional advancement. And then I did want to highlight in marketing, we continue with our publications and advertisements. There is a publication called Veteran View, which is both online and it is published traditionally in your hands. They've selected our museum for a feature article, and this was based off of which location was visited more that they advertised. So they polled their readers and asked, where do you visit most? And so our dinosaur museum was the location that was visited the most, and so they were going to do a feature article on our museum because the readers basically are saying that's what they're interested in and what they want to learn more about. So we'll have a feature article with them about our dinosaur museum. So a lot of great things, a lot of exciting things, but I'm willing to answer any questions about anything else that was in the report that I haven't covered right now.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. McVeigh?
I just had a comment or a question on the enrollment. Is that Chantel? That's not on your report? Is her name Chantel Lopez? Or is
My word.
Is it?
No, it's Chantel Lujan.
Okay,
Lujan.
I didn't know.
Excuse me. I made a terrible mistake there. It's Chantel Lujan, not Lopez. Thank you. And I apologize for that oversight.
I just thought it might want to be corrected for
Yes.
the minutes.
Please let the record show it's Chantel Lujan.
How many do they have on the rodeo team? Do you know for spring season? Are they still recruiting or?
For the spring season, I'm not absolutely sure. I think was it the fall season had 7, as far as I'm just speaking from the top of my head here, but I'm not certain how many are on the spring season.
I think he was expecting to add at least one more for the spring semester. And I know I went in his office last week and he was watching a kind of a recruiting video of a student. So I know he's working on recruiting, but also he might have 1 or 2 extra this spring. I don't know if that happened or not yet.
Any other questions for Mr. McVeigh? Thank you very much. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
All right, next is Mr. Martinez. Morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'll start off with facilities. I'm not sure if anybody noticed on the way in today, but I'm finally happy to announce after literally probably a year or so, contractors are on site for the building B re-roof. We had a pre-construction meeting last week, and with that, in my board report from last week, it was prior to that pre-con meeting, and it stated that they'd either be here the 20th or the 27th. But with the holiday, it looks like they mobilized and they're actually out there working today. This project is expected to be about 6 to 8 weeks for them to complete that. They'll be working on the actual metal roof first. They'll be placing some decking in between the voids of that metal roof to seal it so it's flush and level, and then they'll come over the top of that with the TPO layer. So it should be very well sealed up and a much better product than what was there existing. They'll also be replacing the R panel roof that's adjacent to that, and also fixing some areas on the TP roof specific to the drains, and also they'll be working on the gutter and stucco on the west side of the building, Building E, that's the wind energy building. Still waiting to hear back on exactly what will be taken care of as far as the rest of the campus. In my report, it was noted with those contractors, myself and our facilities director, Mr. Bobbitt, were able to go through every single building, including the Dinosaur Museum, to address all of our concerns. And that date happened to be last Thursday when we received snow, so there was some moisture, and it allowed us to see any new leaks or existing leaks that were resurfacing. So thankfully, they were able to document everything through photo evidence. They're submitting an updated report and submitting that to our insurance. And we're hoping to get some of that additional damage, whether it's new or it was existing, covered by the insurance claim. We also went to the armory. I think that's something that might not have been addressed a few of the other times that this company had been out. So we're just making sure that we're reviewing every single thing. Every single building's gone through thoroughly. So now we're hoping that that additional damage that we found through that walkthrough will be covered. If not, then we'll have to utilize some of our BR&R funds or some other route to make sure that that's taken care of. We also have the big, large capital request that was put forth with the HED's package that will be going through the legislative session during the 60-day session. I also wanted to note that through the fitness center, it's a bit old since things have changed and we haven't met in a while, but the fitness center did receive all of its new equipment. So we do have quite a bit new equipment that was installed over the Christmas break. But that being said, it's been nice to see a lot of new members, new membership going through the fitness center. And I wanted to voice and put out there some of the promotions we have. We've changed our typical, what was kind of our holiday or New Year's promotion, where it was buy January through May and get June free. Now we're going to go ahead and offer purchase any 5 consecutive months and you'll get the 6th free. And I know a few people have taken advantage of that promotion, as well as buy any consecutive 10 months and you'll get 2 months free. So if you purchase a year, you'll get 2 of the months off. It's been very popular. We have also changed our payment method. If they're just a community member, not enrolling for any kind of community ed kind of physical fitness type classes for credit, then they're paying through our Square app, which is really nice. I have access to multiple reports. I didn't do it for this meeting, but I could literally go up there and tell you what we've made as far as revenue to date, net revenue. With Square, there is a small percentage transaction fee that they take, but the customer service has been greatly improved. So before we might have had one cashier up front, and if that individual wasn't there, then the customer would have to come back at a later date or later time. Now we have staff, our work study, as well as our part-time employer, both able to utilize the Square terminal to make transactions. I'm trained in that as well as a few other people on campus. So there's many options for those individuals. If they come during their lunch hour or at a different time, they're able to get some great community service, customer service, and pay for their fitness center membership. We also have another option, the last one that I'm happy that finally launched, I believe last week, is now you're able to pay for your gym membership online if you choose to do so. There is a link on Mesalands, our main website, as well as I think it was posted on Facebook as well. So you're able to go through and pay for your own membership and actually go through a subscription as you would like some of these streaming television apps. Say today I go and I want to pay for January, you're able to purchase and I think it hits that same day, the 21st of each month, and it goes exactly a month. So I'm happy to announce that has launched. The new equipment has been a hit. It's funny, in the past I remember going to the fitness center and everything was open, it was kind of quiet, and now we're getting to the point where the words got around, we have the new equipment, and now you actually have to wait a little bit to utilize some of it. We have plenty of machines and equipment to do your own circuit and get back to that. The machinery is now available when you need it. I also wanted to note that myself and Mr. McVeigh have always registered for our CPO certifications. Mine will be a recertification, and Mr. McVeigh's will be his initial. He has to go through the week long of the class. Maintenance has been working on installing LED lights throughout the buildings in multiple phases. I know they've done quite a bit. I think completed everything but the great room in Building A. They've done the lighting here in the hallway in Building G, and we're doing what we can within our budget. And any kind of areas that are too high priority where there's heavy foot traffic, we're going to go ahead and try to push that out probably to next fiscal year, just to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible and not spending a lot of money just on lighting. But there is that return on investment where it should reduce the electric bill quite a bit. The last thing I have is 2 MOUs were submitted to the city of Tucumcari. Myself and Dr. Moss were able to go meet with the new city manager, and we were able to discuss some of the projects, things we have going on at this time, and some of the things that we'd like to move forward with. So we did bring up the property where we'd like to have student housing. So I'll be scheduling a meeting with the city manager and the community development director to make sure that the zoning is appropriate. And once that has been verified and we have something in writing from the city, at that point I'll start obligating some funds, working on things like the appraisal and any kind of surveys or anything we may have to do for that property. But the MOU specifically, one is for the use of the golf course for our golf team, and the second is an MOU for our fitness center. It'll allow all the first responders in the city of Tucumcari to utilize our fitness center free of charge. All they'll have to pay is a $10 ID fee to obtain their ID, and then they'd have access to our fitness center if they choose to do so. And I forgot, I guess there's one other thing. We did have a facility use agreement for a local cornhole club, and with that, that opens up the opportunity. I know we had talked at one point for our golf team having a fundraiser, but now we have a location. They're set up there. Everything is going well, and just something to do for the community as well. Everybody's more than welcome to attend when they have those nights. They post on Facebook, and again, no alcohol or smoking, tobacco, anything allowed. They have to follow all college rules and regulations. And with that, that concludes my report. I stand for any questions. Yes, ma'am.
At the fitness center, you said there's staff for helping with Square, but is there staff there to help or work study to show the new machines and everything, or any of those?
There is. They're always available for that. So any new member that shows up for the first time, they have a mandatory orientation where they must go through the fitness center. And at that time, whether it's our work study or a part-time employee, they'll go through and actually show where everything's at, how to follow the rules, where the wipes are to wipe down the equipment, and also some of the more difficult pieces of equipment that are new. They'll show them an example, kind of this is how you utilize it, what to do and what not to do. If it's a returning member, same thing. All they have to do is stop in during those business hours. Right now, I almost have full coverage Monday through Thursday, which is our typical college hours, 7 to 6, Monday through Thursday. I know our part-time employee works Monday through Thursday, 1 to 6 p.m. And then our work study works mornings, typically 7 to noon. There are some days where she has class, so it may be only 7 to 10 or 7 to 11. But I'd recommend maybe going in the afternoon where I know Si's consistent. He's there 1 to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And he's also there, I believe, 8 to 1 on the weekend or 8 to noon on Saturday. So we have almost full 7-day coverage with the exception of Sunday, I believe. But they are more than welcome to stop in the office at any time if they have any questions and recommendations or pointers on how to use the machines. They can help with that as well.
Any other questions for Mr. Martinez? No. Thank you very much. Appreciate all you do. Next is Staff Senate President, Mr. Garcia.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So I'll go over a few things we discussed in our staff senate meeting last week, and I believe you guys have the minutes there. One of the issues they wanted to bring up was just some of the heating, some of the areas there, I know in building A are without heat. And generally it's not too bad, but this morning was a little chilly when we came in, especially there in the library. But generally it's not too bad, so we look forward to when all that can get repaired and replaced and everything will be working all right. So I heard some discussions on that. One other thing we discussed was about Stampede Day. I know this semester, we had this bad weather, so Stampede Day got cut short. So we talked about the possibility of maybe doing that on Wednesday, maybe in the fall. And we think it would be maybe better, that way we can have it on Wednesday and then we still have the Thursday to have students come in. We can kind of pick up, where we left off with Wednesday. So I think we're gonna, talk with the administration about maybe having the Stampede Day on Wednesday for the fall semester this coming year. And then generally staff had just some questions about the accreditation process, just making sure we're all on the same page. I know Joel mentioned the timeline for that, so it's coming up pretty fast. We're March, we have to have everything kind of put together, and then we have until July 1st from that point to get that all put in. So they just had some questions and concerns about the accreditation process and just making sure all the different groups were all aligned. So that was a discussion on that. I'll talk a little bit about our adult ed program. We have 13 graduates for high school equivalency as of today. And we have 9 more students that are either scheduled or going to be scheduled to take the HiSET test in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So we're working on getting them prepping for their tests and getting them signed up. And our goal this year is to have 20 graduates. So we only need 7 more, so we feel pretty confident about reaching that goal. We had 16 last year. Some more with adult ed. Joel mentioned our CNA program. IET was approved through HED. I'll be attending IET implementation training at ENMU Roswell this Friday. And that's put on by HED. They're gonna go over some things that are gonna help us get that implemented. Now that we got it approved, we have to get it implemented, have the session, and be able to spend that $65,000 that we were awarded. We have to spend that by June 30th. So I'll attend that training. We have Adult Ed Day at the Capitol. That's gonna be February 10th, so I'll be attending that as a representative of Mesalands. And then big thing we have right now is for Adult Ed, we get approved for our grant funding, and it runs on 4-year cycles. Right now, we're on year 4 of this 4-year cycle, so our funding expires June 30th. They sent out the application to apply for the next 4 years, and then we had our meeting this last Friday, so I had to meet with HED on that. It's where they go over the application, what to expect, everything you need to include, and that's gonna be due March 21st, so that's 2 months from today. So that's gonna be the major thing I'm gonna be working on over the next 2 months, is submitting that application to get us funded for another 4 years. And if we do get approved, that'll run through June of 2029. And
Funding
then,
will be double, right? Funding will be double.
well, it should be more. I don't know about double. But no, we expect to fully get approved and just continue the work we've been doing. Our adult ed, we started our ESL classes back up last week. And we're working with those students to get them post-tested. They did a pre-test in August when they first came, so we'll get them post-tested. And we're doing the ESL classes same as last semester. Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's a morning session. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's an evening session. So Simon Chavez and Dr. Stephen Edwards are helping us again this semester with that. So we jumped right back into getting busy. We came back January 6th and jumped right back into getting the ESL going, getting our HiSET testing going. So we're busy this semester, a lot of students, and we're looking forward just getting these high set testers done and completed, getting our goal of 20. So if there's any questions, I'll take them at this time.
Congratulations on the 65,000.
Oh yeah, thank you. You know, we work with Joel and Shannon with the nursing program. There's HED has an application if you want to do an IET. So they send you the application, we have to get it filled out, and there's a lot that goes into that. So I know Joel and Shannon worked a lot with that, getting that completed. And then we sent it in over Christmas break. They sent it back to me saying this is fully approved. So that enabled us to access that 65,000. Like Joel said, it can be used for anything with the program. It can be used for tuition, books, paying the instructor, things like that. So I'm gonna go to that training this Friday, and they'll go a lot more over what we need to do to get it implemented. So
Any other questions for Mr. Garcia? Thank you
All right,
very
thank
much.
you.
Thanks for all you do.
Yep.
Next is, trustees have any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call please.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Primrose,
Yes.
and Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
And the motion carried.
executive session.
So made.
Well, there she is. You can see Margaret, so where she is.
We have a motion and a second. That was a second, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
I couldn't see her, and I was gonna say, well, gotta make sure she's here.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
Mr. Primrose,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
and Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
and the motion passed.
All right, thank you. There was no action in executive session. We do not have any correspondence. Martin Luther King Day was yesterday and the college was closed. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, February 18th at 3:00. And the only thing I did print a list of ACT. It says policy development, a joint effort between the trustees and the CEO, and it gives a good list of things that the governing board needs to do in developing that. And I know we've been talking about that sometime, but I thought this was important to bring to the trustees on that effort. If you get a chance to look at that, appreciate it. And if there's not anything else, I'll get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second. A roll call, please.
Mr. Primrose,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
and Mr. Sandoval.
Yes.